been 72 years since we gained independence.
And today we celebrate it with much pride as one country, one nation and one people.
Welcome, and you're watching the news live on Channel I. I'm Sharam Maskrinis.
And I'm Tilina Udayaratna. We begin with a quick check on tonight's top stories. The 72nd Independence Day of Sri Lanka is celebrated with a gallant ceremony. Addressing the nation, the President emphasizes that he will not allow any extremist terrorist organization to be active in the country. The Prime Minister says that the achieved freedom was challenged in the recent past in an unprecedented manner. A special program to prevent the spread of the coronavirus was held at the port premises.
And now for those and other stories in detail. The entire nation gathered to celebrate the 72nd Independence Day in a gallant manner today. The national ceremony to celebrate the 72nd Independence Day was held at the Independence Square in Colombo. The special guest of the national ceremony of the 72nd Independence Day was Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Ground Forces Oleg Salvyov. Governor of the Western Province Specialist Dr. Sitaram Epula, Minister Janaka Bandara Tennakon, Opposition Leader Sanjit Premadasa, Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga were present on this occasion. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa arrived to the national ceremony subsequent to the arrival of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
හැත්තෑදිවන නිදහස් දිනවල වඩාත් අර්ථ ගැන්වෙන්නේ අපේ සංස්කෘතිය, සભ્યත්වය, සදාචාර සම්පන්න බව මෙන්ම වැඩිහිටියන්ට ගරු කිරීම ආදී මානව ගුණාංගයන්ගෙන් බව රහසක් නෙවේ. පූර්ණ භූමි ආදී විශිෂ්ට පදක්කම් 7කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයකින් පිදුම් ලැබූ සැබවින්ම මව්බිමට තම පනසේ ආදරය කරන ජනනායකයෙකු ලෙස අතිකරු ජනාධිපති ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා රාජ්‍ය නායකයා වීම මුළු මහත් ජාතියේ වාග්යක්මය.
A 2-minute silence was observed to commemorate the patriots who sacrificed their lives to ensure peace and security in the nation. Subsequently, a 21-gun salute was extended on behalf of the President.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa requested the entire nation to rally around the efforts undertaken by the government to build a prosperous country. The President made these remarks while making his first ever address at the national ceremony of the 72nd Independence Day.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුළ ජීවත් වන සෑම පුරවැසියෙකුටම නිදහස්ව සුරක්ෂිතව ජීවත් වීමේ අයිතිය තිබෙනවා.
The president said that Sri Lanka is a unitary state and a free, sovereign, independent and democratic republic. On the occasion of celebrating 72 years of independence, he pledged to further strengthen the freedom of the nation as head of the state. He paid tribute to all Sinhala, Tamil, Muslim, Malay and Burgal leaders who dedicated themselves to achieving and ensuring this independence. Every citizen living in the country has the right to live freely and securely. He and the government will always ensure the nation's right to think freely, hold independent opinions and express without any hindrance. They will always respect the right of any citizen to follow the religion of his or her choice. The president also said that they will always defend the right of every Sri Lankan citizen to participate in the political and governance processes. They consider all these as rights of the citizens, which no one can challenge. He will work with the utmost dedication for the betterment of the country and the people during his tenure. He emphasized on maintaining a clear consensus on the responsibilities of the central government and decentralized authorities in the devolution of power. Stating that the responsibilities of the public and military institutions is required to be recognized, the president said that all institutions should realize that the citizens of the country have individual and collective rights through the coordination between the state and the public. He is committed to working towards fulfilling the needs of the people of the country. He added that he would not envisage public officials, lawmakers or the judiciary to impede on the implementation of his commitment. He will continue to respect the freedom of the nation. However, he will work towards improving it and guarantee the political and economic freedom in the country. He will act to accelerate the development activities in line with the new trends in the global economy by making appropriate use of the country's unique geographical location, natural and human resources. The government has paid special attention to strengthening national and public security. He will not allow any extremist organization which allows terrorism to bloom to further function in the country. He will fully strengthen the freedom of people to think and to write freely with the aim to create visionaries and quality works of art in the country. His government will always be prepared to tolerate and accommodate opposing views. The media in the country has complete freedom at present. The president said that the government has ensured their right to express freely as well. The president requested all to act in accordance with each other's conscience and realize whether their actions and words will benefit or harm the country. However, the president said that if the government is moving in the wrong direction, according to individual conscience, people have the duty to point this out boldly. The people must respect the rule of law. He added that the public will enjoy the real freedom only when the law is fairly and equally applied. The government has taken steps to change the culture of political interference in legal matters. Many challenges have in fact been posed before the nation. Therefore, the support of the nation is needed for the efforts taken by the government to overcome these challenges. His policy statement comprises of an action plan that will allow the country to overcome these challenges. The expectation of the government is to create a prosperous nation through this new plan. The present generation has the ability to realize this hope on behalf of future generations. President Rajapaksa requested all Sri Lankans to join with the government in accepting this responsibility that history has bestowed upon the country.
Meanwhile, the Tri-Forces Parade with salutations highlighted the gallantry of the Independence Day. More than 8,000 personnel participated in the 72nd Independence Day Parade held under the theme, Secured Nation, Prosperous Country.
සිරප්පණී කේන්ද්‍ර කැප්ටන් ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය ජාතිය ආරක්ෂකයා ලෙස විරුදාවලිය ලබ 70 වසරක ඉතිහාසයක් ශ්‍රී ලංකා යුද හමුදාව සම්මාන පෙළපාලි ආරම්භය සංජානන කරමින් ඉදිරියට ගමන් කරන මොහොතයි මේ ඔබ දකින්නේ.
वर्ष 1943 දී ආරම්භ කරන ශ්‍රී ලංකා සංඥා බලපා කණ්ඩයට අනදෙන්නේ මේජර් සංජීව කුමාරසිරි, රෙජිමෙන්තු සැරෙන් මේජර් වල්ලතුංගාරි 1 SN සෙනවිරත්න.
பணி இப்போது அணிவகுத்து செல்கிறது. மேஜர் சஞ்சீவ குமாரசிங்க அவர்களின் வழி நடத்தலில்
Sri Lanka Light Infantry of
හණ්ඩුල හස්තියා පෙරටු කරගෙන වර්ෂ 1880කදී ආරම්භ කරන ලද ශ්‍රී ලංකා පාබල හමුදා ඛණ්ඩයට අණදෙන්නේ මේජර් ප්‍රශාන්ත් මෙත්ති කුමාර රෙජිමෙන්ට්
After the mighty commandos of Sri Lanka Army, we have the Sri Lanka Army Special Forces, commanded by Major Dhammika Ratnapala.
දැන් 72 වන නිදහස් සමරු උළෙලට සිය අභිමන් ආචාර්ය කරන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා යුද හමුදා විශේෂ බලකායයි.
වර්ෂ
The Special Forces will be followed by Military Intelligence Corps, Sri Lanka Army.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා යුද හමුදා පොලිස් සේවා බලකායේ ආචාර්ය වේ.
වර්ෂ 1949 දී ආරම්භ කරන ලද ශ්‍රී ලංකා යුද හමුදා පොලිස්
Major Kalpanipana.
අද ආචාර්ය පෙළපාලියට ප්‍රථම කාන්තා සහභාගීත්වය ශ්‍රී ලංකා යුද හමුදා කාන්තා බලකායේ.
69 වසරක අභිමාන විනය නිහඬ සේවය සමග රටවට බැගිර රඟපෑම විරුද්ධවාදීලාත් වයිස් අද්මිරාල් පියද්ද සිල්වා නායක හමුදා අත්විඳාරණ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නායක හමුදාව. ඒත් එක්ක ඔබ මේ දකින්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නායක නෞකා ගජබාහු පරක්‍රමබාහු සහ සිඳුරල එනත නෞකා ප්‍රමුඛ කරගත්තා. ඒ සමගම ඔබ මේ දකින්නේ නායක නෞකා සිඳුරල නෞකාව සිය ආචාර්ය පොරත කරන අවස්ථාවයි. ඔබ මේ දකින්නේ මහා සයුර මෙන්ම ගොඩබිමේ හා ගුවනේද සුවිශේෂී සටන් ක්‍රම පිළිබඳ විශිෂ්ටයන් ඇතුළත් වන විශේෂ යාත්‍රා බලකරණය සඳහා අද දින ලුතනන්ට් කමාන්ඩර් ප්‍රියන්ත පුෂ්ප
We have got the Naval Women's Division.
සුරගිමු ලකඹර තේමා පාඨය කරගනිමින් වත් දේශයේ ගුවන් සුරකින ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගුවන් හමුදාව. දැන් ඔබට මේ පිළිදි ස්වන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගුවන් හමුදාව සතු සෙස්නා 150 වර්ගයේ ගුවන් යානා පෙළයි. බටහිර තූරවාද කණ්ඩායම අපේ ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ සිය උත්තමාචාරය පුද කරමින් ගමන් කරන ආකාරය ඔබට මේ පිළිදි ස්වන්නේ. ඉන්නතුව ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිස් ශකිලා ඒකනායක අනුදුන් ලබන ගුවන් කාන්තාවන්ගෙන් සතුල්ලා බලගනේ අතිකරු සම්දාසතු F7 වර්ගයේ ප්‍රහාරක ජෙට් යානා පෙළ 2000 ගුණ වර්ණවත් කරමින් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන ආකාරය.
72 වන නිදහස් සමරුවට සිය ආචාර්ය කරන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිසියයි.
පොලිස් අධිකාරී 30 විසින් අනුදුරු ලබන ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිස් බලකායේ බලයෙන් අභිමානවත් ලෙස එම පෙළපාලියට එක්වන ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිස් කාන්තා බලයෙන් නැගෙනහිර පළාත සතුරු ග්‍රහණයෙන් මුදා ගැනීම සඳහා සුවිශේෂ කාර්යභාරයක් සිදු කළ විශේෂකාර්ය බලකා නිලධාරීන් අභිමානවත් ලෙස 72 වන නිදහස් සමරු දැන් ඔබට දිස්වන්නේ දිවි හිමියන් රට රකින්න ආදර්ශ පාඨය කරගත් ශ්‍රී ආරක්ෂක බලකා සම්මාන පෙළපාලිය ශ්‍රී ලංකා
සන්නද්ධ රථ පෙළපාලියේ දැන් ගමන් කරන්නේ රුසියාවේ නිෂ්පාදිත BTR 80A සන්නද්ධ රථ දෙකක්.
இப்போது உங்கள் முன்னால் ரஷ்யா
In 1989 is the only rider team trained for
In parallel to the national ceremony of the Independence Day, the Sri Lanka Navy extended a gun salute in honor of the nation today. It was conducted at the lighthouse premises near the Sri Lanka Navy headquarters. A 25 gun salute was extended in honor of the nation.
දැන් ඔබ මේ දකින්නේ අප මාතෘභූමියේ අභිමානයේ පෙරටු කරගත් ජාතික ධජයත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නාවික හමුදාවේ අභිමානයේ කියාපාමින් නාවික ධජයක් රැගෙන ඔවුන්ගේ සැබෑ හැකියාවන්
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the independence won by the nation on the 4th of February 1948 has faced unprecedented challenges. This experience indicates that achieving freedom and preserving the freedom gained are two different matters entirely. These remarks were cited in the statement issued by the Prime Minister marking the country's 72nd Independence Day. The issued statement has indicated that the freedom obtained in 1948 in the eyes of the law came very close to being vitiated after 2015 through bad politics. The results of the presidential election held in November showed the determination of the people to safeguard the status as an independent nation. A free media has been ensured in the country, while the personal safety of each citizen has been assured. The challenge before the country is to restore the economic progress which was lost due to bad politics. The Prime Minister believes that people belonging to all ethnic and religious groups in this country will come together in the task of taking this country forward into an era of prosperity. Minister Janaka Bandara Tennakon has said that people of the country are experiencing a new political freedom. This is positive for a democratic nation. In his statement issued for the Independence Day, the freedom of the country will be fully achieved after ensuring the national resources for the future generation within a production economy. UMP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe has said that the nation should aspire to further strengthen the peace and reconciliation process in the country as children of a mother. In the Independence Day message issued by the UMP leader, a tiring effort was undertaken in the recent past to ensure peace among the ethnicities before various challenges. Meanwhile, President of Russia Vladimir Putin today said he was convinced that the further development of bilateral ties with Sri Lanka was in line with the strengthening of regional security and stability. President congratulated Sri Lanka on its 72nd Independence Day. In a letter addressed to the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, President Putin said that he is convinced that the further development of the constructive bilateral dialogue and fruitful cooperation in various fields meets the fundamental interest of people of both countries. He said that is in line with the strengthening of regional security and stability. He further said that Russia and Sri Lankan relations are based on the good traditions of friendship and mutual respect.
Well, U.S. Secretary of State Michael R. Pompeo said the USA is looking forward to deepening ties with Sri Lanka. Issuing a statement, the United States has congratulated Sri Lanka for celebrating its 72nd anniversary of independence. In the press statement, U.S. Secretary of State Michael R. Pompeo said that the United States will continue to support Sri Lanka's vibrant democracy and its sovereignty, as the relationship between the two nations is based on common democratic values, and both countries share a commitment to ensuring the peace in the Indo-Pacific region. Sri Lanka and the United States share a commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific region that ensures peace, economic growth, security, democracy and human rights for the advancement of the peoples of the two countries. His statement read further. He added that as a close friend and partner, the United States has congratulated on Sri Lanka's Independence Day, and he extended his warmest wishes for peace and prosperity in the coming year.
Meanwhile, President of China Xi Jinping and the government of China have extended their greetings and best wishes to Sri Lanka and its people on the 72nd Independence Day. Extending their best wishes to Sri Lankan people, President of China Xi Jinping and Prime Minister of China Li Qiang and China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi have sent congratulatory messages to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. They highlighted on the great importance in further developing China-Sri Lanka relations and to consolidate the political mutual trust towards the development of Sri Lanka.
The Sri Lanka Deputy High Commission for Southern India in Chennai held its national event commemorating the 72nd anniversary of independence of Sri Lanka at the High Commission premises today. The event commenced with the hoisting of the national flag of Sri Lanka by the Deputy High Commissioner of Sri Lanka for Southern India, V. Krishnamurthy, followed by the singing of the national anthem and the observance of a 2-minute silence remembering those who sacrificed their lives for our nation. The Independence Day message from the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka was read in Sinhala, Tamil and English, followed by the speech from the Deputy High Commissioner in which he quoted the manifesto of the President. In the speech, the Deputy High Commissioner highlighted the cordial relations between Sri Lanka and India and the opportunities for further cooperation in the fields of trade and technology. The event was concluded with colourful Sri Lankan traditional dances.
And now let's take a look at a brief history on the independence gained by the Sri Lankans on February 4th, 1948. Portuguese, Dutch and British imperialistic empires colonized Sri Lanka during various eras throughout the history of the country. With the colonization, the resources, culture and the economy of the country were mutilated. British imperialists colonized Sri Lanka in 1850 after defeating the Dutch in 1796 and the Sri Lankan Kingdom. However, Sri Lankans continued to struggle against the British imperialism throughout the time. Venerable Varyapula Sumangalathera put down the British flag bravely and stood before the firearms of the British colonizers, giving life to Sri Lanka's struggle against the British rule. 1818 and 1848 insurgencies were erupted and the people were armed with swords in against the violations made by the colonizers to the 1815 agreement. Sri Lanka received independence in 1948 under Dominion status. The 1972 Republic Constitution ensured the complete independence to the nation. However, the racism and discriminatory opinions and stances created by the imperialists erupted from the north, and the North terrorism terrorized the country. An uncertainty instilled in the hearts of the people over their lives with the bomb blast occurred across the nation. Terrorists claimed as Tamil Eelam revolutionaries continued to destroy the lives of the people without any racial or any other division. They destroyed not only the lives of the state leaders, military heads, but the lives of innocent children as well. They even trained the young children to carry arms without engaging in educational activities. Under such situation in the country, a decision was reached in 2005 to end the terrorism from the face of the country. Then President Mahinda Rajapaksa became the caretaker of the nation with this decision. Many efforts were taken to sabotage the mission against terrorism carried out by the military and the governing leadership of the country. However, the country's leadership continued to thrive forward with the correct guidance given to the military to save the country from the clutches of terrorism. As a result, the brutal terrorism of 30 years came to an end in 2009. Citizens of the country who were enjoying the freedom gained in 2009 began to fear for their lives with the recent Easter Sunday terrorist attack, while the economy of the country continued to collapse from there on. The country, which experienced a backward progress, elected a new president to take the country towards the prosperity. The new leadership was given the responsibility to prevent the extremist terrorist organization to rise again in the country. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has also been given the responsibility to achieve an independent and strong economy in the country. All should gather for the battle to ensure the national security, uplift the economy and safeguard national resources. Meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said the commitment and courage exhibited by Sri Lankan Airlines crew who flew to Wuhan is a good example for the other sectors in the country. The President expressed these views at a luncheon hosted at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday to bring back Sri Lankan students. Engineers, pilots and the crew who took part in the operation, airline chairman Ashok Patrage and board of directors were present on the occasion. President Rajapaksa said everyone worked towards a single objective and the risk taken by them was a historical milestone in the annals of Sri Lankan Airlines. The President pledged his unwavering support to develop the national carrier on par with other international airlines while preserving our uniqueness.
The mission took place under the directive of His Excellency the President in thinking of bringing home affected students from China itself. There were 800 of students that came on, and especially the 33 students and the families that were stuck in Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus. So once we took charge of this, the initial part of it was to get the clearance, as Sri Lankan Airlines doesn't fly to Wuhan on a regular basis, but we had to get the clearance from the Chinese authorities, and I thank the government of China in giving us this clearance at this difficult time in that country, because everybody was requesting the clearance, but they gave us the clearance to fly to Wuhan. This mission was planned about 4 days, untiring efforts to get the clearance, plan the flight, because it was a longer than normal flight and we couldn't stay over, and we had to get the clearance from the Civil Aviation Authority to do this flight. And we had to set a double set of crew. It must be said, when we were planning, all these gentlemen who went on the flight, every single one of them were volunteers.
We, along with the Quarantine Department and Ministry of Health, their guidelines, we strictly adhere to that. Because Sri Lankan Airlines do especially when there's a fake declare, the WHO declares a public health emergency of international concern, then every passenger or crew member who comes through the airport needs to declare illness. So as a result, this is one of the ways that we adhere to the requirement of the country. So everyone was, we as a practice train our crew anyway.
Also just to tell you guys, we are no heroes. We were just doing our job, right? With regards to volunteers, I've got, when pilots got to know that we were doing this, we got so many messages, calls saying, if you guys need us, we are there. So I think there would have been so many other pilots who would have volunteered, but of course we could only take 4. So it happened to be 4 of us.
That was a decision taken by the government of Sri Lanka. It was easier to bring them into Matala to start with, because they were going to be sent to Diatalava. Setting up of the Air Force team there, from the tarmac itself, getting all the passengers and the crew and getting them cleaned up and quarantined there is much easier. And also the trip to Diatalava was quicker from there, because the army took over them and they provided all the necessary facilities for them, and they are still under very good care by the army. The Chinese authorities will not board anybody if they suspect of any kind of illness. They were only boarding the passengers who were deemed fit to travel. I must say, as Chief of the Service Delivery, I had inundated of requests coming in that they want to be a part of this mercy mission.
The proposal drafted by the Professionals National Front to compose a national trade policy was handed over to the President and the Prime Minister. It was held at the Centre of Expert Professionals Association in Colombo. A public commission was established by the Professionals National Front to compose a national trade policy for international trade. The summary of the suggestions and opinions provided by various parties has been included into the new proposal. Chairman of the Professionals National Front, Specialist Dr. Rupavahini, presented the report that consists of the proposals to the President last evening. Minister Pavitra Vanniyarachi and professionals were present on this occasion. The proposal was handed over to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa this morning. A request was made to provide a complete support of the Parliament to provide and prepare a permanent economic policy which will not be amended during government changes. Chairman of the Professionals National Front, Dr. Rupavahini, said that they experience a sense of security with him at the helm. It continued to wane after 2015. He came across people who are fraudulent and corrupt. The selling of human resources of the country was observed through the ITCA agreement. A request was made to the previous government to create a national trade policy. However, the previous government presented a new trade policy statement, which was an extract from an email received from an intellectual, Ravi Ratnayaka. Government printed books consisted of more than 8,000 pages from the trade policy of India. This fraudulent document had misled the cabinet of ministers and was even passed in the parliament.
Religious ceremonies were held to mark the celebrations of the 72nd Independence Day of the country. Buddhist religious observances were held at the Pulvata Dharmakirti Rama Viharasthana in Kolpiti. Hindu religious observances were held at the Mayurapati Sri Bhadrakali Amman Kovil in Colombo. Islamic religious observances were held at the Jummah Masjid Mosque in Kolpiti. The Catholic Mass marking the Independence Day was held at the St. Mary's Church in Bambalapitiya. The main Holy Mass was conducted by the Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit. The Christian Mass was held at the Baptist Church in Bagamoyo. Ministry of Health says that steps have been taken to screen the arriving of foreign nationals at locals from airports and all ports in Sri Lanka for coronavirus. The death toll of the coronavirus victims has been alleviated up to 427 across the world. Only 2 deaths were reported from outside the mainland China. The deaths were reported from Philippines and Hong Kong. The health authorities have pointed out that the percentage of deaths related to the coronavirus is at 2 to 3%. The confirmed cases of victims contracted with the coronavirus have been increased up to 20,627 thus far. According to a study carried out in China, more than 80% of the contracted patients are above the age of 60. The youngest victim to succumb from the virus was a month-old toddler. Huo Shenshan Hospital, built in 10 days, has commenced providing treatments for the infected patients. The second hospital will be commenced on Thursday. Comparing to the other countries contracted with the virus, Sri Lanka is at a stable position at present. No other patient has been found in the country apart from the virus-infected Chinese national. 16 suspected cases have been reported from the country thus far. Ministry of Health has said that the students arrived from Wuhan recently are in good health condition. Sri Lanka has received the assistance from the international communities to strengthen the disease prevent process. A special discussion was held.
Infection is spreading in the China as well as in some other countries, and we have detected 1 case, that Chinese lady, on 27th January that we diagnosed that lady, and that is the only case that has been reported in our country, and we are happy to say that that lady is now recovering, and we will be soon able to decide when to discharge this patient, but we are still keeping her because this is a new disease and we should ensure that this lady is completely cured and she will not spread this disease to somebody else, or that the virus is not shedding from her anymore. Apart from that, about 16 patients were admitted to several other hospitals suspected of novel coronavirus infection and under investigation and treatment by now. The Minister of Health with other stakeholders has imposed stringent control measures to prevent introduction of the novel coronavirus infection again to the country. That is that all the ports of entries, including Bandaranaike International Airport, other airports and seaports, that we are screening all the people that come in and to identify whether there are any person who is having the symptoms of suggestive of novel coronavirus infection. If so, we will be admitting them to a hospital for further investigation and treatment.
A special discussion was held yesterday to find solutions to combat virus infections, including corona, through traditional Ayurvedic medicine. The meeting was held between Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi and local and traditional Ayurvedic doctors.
Well, on the same note, consultant epidemiologist at the Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Thilanga Ruwanpathirana, said that necessary safety and monitoring measures should be undertaken on the tourists in the country in order to sustain the tourism industry. Speaking at a media briefing held by Sri Lanka Tourism yesterday, health and aviation sector representatives made remarks under the preventive measures that have been taken to safeguard the country from the coronavirus outbreak.
China is not sending tourists as groups, but there is a chance where a small couples, families, they could come to Sri Lanka. So we should not discourage them. It's all right. You can let them come in, and I'm sure they will not be happy to be in a hotel and quarantine for 14 days. No? So the best option at the moment will take them around the country with all the precautions. What are the precautions? The precautions would be ask them to wear a face mask. Always take some sort of a hand rub. Allow them to wash their hands as much as possible. If you are going in the same vehicle, you also the driver and other people also could wear the face mask. So that would be the best thing. And this particular virus won't spread from swimming pools, from bed linen, and those things you don't have to worry.
Up until now, we have about 4,840 arrivals from certain Chinese airlines. From the date of this threat, the initiatives that the Airport and Aviation has taken has been immense. I think we had introduced, along with the Health Ministry's help, we have initiated thermal screening at all gates. So all traffic which is coming into Sri Lanka is being heavily monitored through thermal screening. We have PHIs available at all gates and all the thermal screening centers. So I think in regards to confidence, we can assure the industry that Airport and Aviation has taken every measure. We have introduced our thermal screening measures and quarantine measures even prior to Changi Airport. Also, I would like to state that we have identified a separate segregated gate for all these Chinese airline arrivals, and all the Chinese airline arrivals are treated at a separate gate with our officials and the quarantine measures in process. Just now we do have a quarantine process happening. We have the PHIs available there. The scanning is not currently available, but we are identifying, we are looking at it severely. We are also having a personal scanning machine, which is not the thermal, but we do have personal scannings. One by one we scan. Ratmalana as well. Currently both airports are being covered. We have got all those forms, and we have forwarded all of those health declaration forms to all the airlines. Now the airlines are filling it on board, and the declaration forms are received at the airport, and if there are any issues with the quarantine process, we are working towards identifying in special cases, if at all.
There will be a huge global impact because the Chinese tourists account for a significant portion of the global tourism. This will obviously impact us too, but we will take all measures, and we are in discussion with some of the industry stakeholders as well, how we are going to pitch to the Chinese market and whether we need to look at a different profile in terms of pitching a little bit to the middle to high-end market as well. But not only in China. I mean, illnesses is not only China-based. Everyone can get it. So I think that we are not going to focus like that. But yes, it will have an impact. And Sri Lankan tourism, we will take action. Overall, there's a slight drop. But 200,000 figure is there last year, and this year also is above 200,000. So yes, we will have an impact, but we have handled challenges before. We will have handle the challenges in the future.
Now, in line with today's importance, marking the 72nd Independence Day, 512 prisoners were released under the common amnesty granted by the President today. The President has taken these steps in accordance to the powers vested with him under Section 34 of the Constitution. The President's common amnesty was received for inmates who were imprisoned for minor offences. Inmates in several prisons, including the prisons in Gaul, Busa, Dumbara, Pallekele, Angunukola Palassa, Matara, Batiklu, received the common amnesty. The presidential amnesty was not granted for those inmates who have been imprisoned for committing major crimes.
Special Task Force Commandant Senior DIG M.R. Latif will retire today after 41 years in service. He assumed duties as the STF Commandant on August 19, 2016 and was the 11th Commandant of the STF. Senior DIG Latif joined the Sri Lanka Police as a sub-inspector on January 15, 1979 and joined the STF on February 7, 1984 as one of the first members of the STF, which was established on March 1, 1983. During the 41-year-long service, he has held the post of Commanding Officer, Director of Terrorism Investigation Division and Director of VIP Protection prior to being appointed as the STF Commandant in 2016. In addition to the duties as the STF Commandant, Senior DIG Latif was also appointed as the Crimes, Organised Crimes and Narcotic Prevention Division in charge and contributed towards eradicating the drug menace from the country. Under his leadership, over 1,000 kilograms of heroin, cannabis and large stocks of refused tea had been seized by the STF during raids carried out across the country.
Well, that's it from the Rupavahini news desk for tonight. Join us once again tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching. Good night.